Hello there. What is going on, everybody? We've got some epic X-Wing upgrades to talk about in the Pride of Mandalore. What do I mean by epic? I'm talking about stuff that can help with your epic games. That's right, those huge ships or those epic scenarios. If you're not playing a standard tournament game, you can play epic format, which is one of my favorite ways to play, especially because it gives you the opportunity to bring in those huge, awesome, nasty, beautiful, not really nasty, but nasty in the good way. Miss Jackson if you're nasty. But the good kind of nasty, the really big behemoth ships, and I'm really going off on descriptors for the huge ships. If you guys are new here to the channel, we are still giving away a lightsaber. All you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. We talk a lot about Star Wars tabletop games here, as well as Star Wars stuff in general. Sometimes we even talk about lightsabers and helmets and reviews and collectibles and all kinds of good stuff like that. So I invite you to stick around, join our Discord. We got links down in the description below. Big thanks to today's sponsor, Luxury Playstyle. You can get some amazing Full Metal tokens over at luxuryplaystyle.com. They make amazing gifts. They make a great tournament support. Tell your local stores, if you're trying to run X-Wing events, get some of these amazing tokens. They're fantastic organized play support. They're great tournament prizes. They're all double-sided. They come in a variety of finishes. You're going to save 15% with code Crabbok VIP. Orders of $35 or more that use that code are going to get a free Crabbok token thrown in. It's the best token there is. All right, guys, that's kind of wraps up the admin stuff. Let's go ahead and dive into this preview. Now, again, I know this pack has already kind of been leaked and has kind of hit streets early, so some of this stuff has already been out there. But I just wanted to talk about the stuff that we have today to talk about because AMG just dropped some stuff on us basically last night. So pretty cool. We got with Gar Saxon, awesome Imperial Super Commando, not very nice dude, right? Except this is not the Imperial version of him. This is the Scum version. This is that Mandalorian version of him. And yeah, I mean, because he also showed up in Star Wars Rebels too, right? With the white armor and the bad dude. He's always he's just a bad guy everywhere. He's a gunner, which is cool. He's a Scum only, and he can go on a large or huge ship only. So this is kind of like, while he certainly appears to be tournament legal, he doesn't have that little diamond symbol over there. You can still run him. He can also go on a huge ship, which is just really cool. But you can't put him on a medium, so can't put him on a fire spray, can't put him on anything small either. So it definitely restricts some of your options. But he says, while you perform the target lock action, you can only choose an object in your front or rear arcs. So that is that's kind of a little bit of a restrictor, right? We don't usually see crew or gunners or upgrades in general that immediately, like, first off they do is they hamper your ability. Like, he cuts your target lock range in half by doing that. Well, I guess technically less than half, because people who are in your side arc, if just a part of them happens to also be in your front arc, I guess you can still technically target lock them. So you have kind of like your Pac-Man in the front goes a little bit wider, because certain ships will still be able to, especially if you're playing Epic too. You're going to have like those huge base ships, and somebody who's in your side arc might very well still also be in your front or rear. While you perform a primary attack, if the defender is in your front or rear, you may remove one orange token or red token from the defender to roll one additional die up to a maximum of 4. So this is awesome. This is a really cool ability. Of course, it's going to require synergy. You're going to have other mechanics in this build to, you're going to have to be doing, jams. You're going to have to be manufacturing stress. You're going to have to be, depletes and things like that. All of those things, you're going to help your opponent by saying, hey, I'll take that token off of you. So it's going to work really, really well with those multi-stress cards that are putting out multiple stress. This way, yeah, you're still stressed even after I take this one off of you. So that much is really, really cool. They do have to be in your front or rear arc. That does also have to be a primary attack. So if you're throwing torpedoes, you're not getting an extra die on that. Still, it's real nice, and it does have that cap of 4. So if you're already a 3-dice ship, it's not really going to help you very much for those range 1 shots, because you're already going to be kind of hitting that maximum of 4. But it does kind of really help out those longer range ships. It helps take away some of the advantage of shooting to somebody who's at range 3. So I think that's pretty cool. Maybe not take away some of the advantage that they get, but helps make the shot more likely to inflict damage if you're getting extra dice on it. So I like that, and I like him a lot too. He looks pretty fun. Of course, you do lose the whole the target lock shenanigans. You lose some of the target lock shenanigans, but that's still extra dice. I mean, extra dice is the cleanest, simplest way to just make the game more fun. Like, I get more dice, let me roll more dice. So that's fun. We've got Sabine Wren. This is a really interesting card. I think this is maybe the most different card we've seen ever, or at least one of the most different cards we've seen ever. Now, Sabine is Rebel, and she can go on a standard ship, which means she cannot go on a huge ship. She has to go on something that would be legal in standard, and she is, of course, a crew, and of course, and she can also be only used in epic play. And so that's really the interesting thing here is you got to bring her in an epic kind of, she's not tournament legal, right? So you have to bring her in an epic list, but she has to go on a standard ship. So that, like, wrap your mind around that first, right? It's the first, I think it's the first ever, like, something that you're like, hey, I'm gonna bring in huge ships in epic, but now that since I'm doing that, of course, you don't have to bring huge ships for epic because you can use the wing tool. There's a lot of other fun things you can do in epic, or you can just play on some normal lists and maybe run an epic scenario or something like that. And speaking of epic scenarios, that's where this kind of kicks in. So this does a couple of different things. Set up before placing forces. Assign the Trials of the Darksaber condition to yourself. So wherever she goes, you have the Trials of the Darksaber. We'll look at the condition in a minute because that one is really interesting. She also gives you coordinate. It'll be a red coordinate, but it says while you perform a coordinate action, you may coordinate one additional friendly ship. So really cool that she's holding the Darksaber, and she is saying, you know what, guys, do a focus, do a barrel roll, and they do a barrel roll. Star Fox reference. Okay, Trials of the Darksaber. Here's the condition: while you perform an attack at attack range 0 to 2, you may spend a crit result. So you got to roll a crit. It's a little bit conditional, or you at least have to have a crit. You don't have to roll it naturally. Of course, you can manufacture crits potentially. If you do, if the defending ship's player has more scored victory points than you, they lose one scored victory point, and you place a victory point on this card, or that victory point on this card. So this is really only going to work in games where you're doing. So if you're just playing a regular like deathmatch, I don't think this is going to do much. Granted, we don't have all of the new rules from AMG on with, like, if victory points are going to be in every single, like, even the deathmatch, and I guess we kind of have a pretty good idea. So I guess if you're playing like the new AMG scenarios, then maybe this would work with that. But like, this was, still made by the FFG folks before that was even a thing. So like, this was intended to be when you're playing a scenario. Now all of a sudden, you're playing for victory points, and here's a way for you to kind of change the focus of the attack, because here you have Sabine who's stealing glory from the other player. She's stealing accomplishments from the other player because she has the Darksaber, and now you've got to go win it by combat. All right, you have to win it by creed, or something like that. So yes, so basically it's going to keep all of these points, and after you defend, if you are destroyed by an enemy ship at attack range 0 to 2, assign the Trials of the Darksaber condition to the attacker, and all of the victory points on this card remain. At the end of the game, the ship scores all the victory points on this card. So basically, it becomes its own minigame. Now, this is a really, really cool card. It totally allows you to change the way like an epic scenario could be played, and bring a big focus onto hunting down and trying to capture the Darksaber, and then the game could turn into just a big scramble for the Darksaber. Now, if this goes on a ship that potentially could attack multiple times, use bonus attacks, I don't see any restriction on here stopping you from potentially having a crit on each attack and spending it twice, so you could potentially steal up to 2 victory points a turn with this under the right circumstances. Of course, it only really works if they have more victory points than you. Now, the cool thing is it has more scored victory points than you, because you don't score the victory points on this card until the end of the game. So if you're not playing objectives and they're playing objectives and they're scoring victory points, then all of a sudden you can just keep stealing. As long as you don't score any, you want to make sure that they have more than you, and then you have them all in here. But if you do that, it's really risky, because then they could eventually, on the last turn, turn around and blow up this ship, steal the Darksaber themselves. Now, another way that you can do this is if after you defend, if you're destroyed by an enemy ship at range 0 to 2. So, like, you can only lose it. Well, you're going to lose it if you die, but you can only lose it to the other player if they're within 0 to 2. And they kill you. So you could, like, if you fly off the board, then it just goes away, right? And so, like, that's cheesy, and I think there should be a house rule that says no intentionally flying off the board when the Darksaber happens. But, like, if you run into an asteroid and are blown up by that, you're not going to, the other person's not going to get those cards, so, or those victory points. So that's kind of cool that we're getting some new epic, and huge ship, capable shenanigans, and of course it makes sense that Sabine couldn't go on the huge ship, because then it's like, hey, it's gonna be much harder to kill me and get that. So it's like a safe place. So she's got to be out there, like, wielding it in combat, not sitting back safe in her quarters on the big ship. I think that's kind of the way it goes. Pretty cool stuff, though. It'd be real fun. All right, so this is all supposed to be coming out soon-ish, at the end of the month-ish. 25th is the street date, so hopefully we'll have some unboxings coming pretty soon. Looking forward to that. They have been keeping up pretty good with the X-Wing spoilers. They've been giving us, just routine drops. So hopefully Legion starts getting some drops soon. Hopefully Armada gets something soon, so, within the next 2 years. Hopefully. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today. I want to thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing and help make this channel possible, so thank you for your continued support. Guys, you are awesome. And I will talk to you later. May the Force be with you, and always wear your pants out in public. Unless, of course, you're wearing shorts or something else. But don't go bottomless in public. You'll get arrested.